Hi guys, welcome to OCD Recovery again. I am Momin, and today I want to do a video on how to support OCD sufferers in the community from the perspective of someone who suffers from OCD yourself as well. Erica Panella has done videos on this channel from the perspective of a loved one, and she talks about her experience and how she supported Nick Panella, her husband, through his OCD journey. And there's some really great potent advice in there as well. You can show those videos to your family members as well if you want, and they can get some really good tips in there of how to support you better. So do watch those as well. This one is specifically from the perspective of one OCD sufferer to another. So yeah, before I move on, please subscribe to the channel if you like our videos. Feel free to give us feedback. Feel free to comment and ask questions. And yeah, we'll be happy to hear from you. So the first thing that I want to say right off the bat is that when you see someone else with OCD, you do feel a lot for them because you suffer from it yourself. You have been through some really hard times, or maybe you are still going through some hard times with it, and you do feel eager to maybe help them out and support them, and especially tell them something that may have helped you along the way as well. And it's a great way to really get out of your own head, because this disorder is so consuming in a way that you tend to focus only on yourself. Like, your focus is like this, and you can only think about yourself. And I mean, it tends to pull you in that way, pull you inwards. So trying to help other people, trying to be there for them is a really great way to step outside of yourself and really just connect with other people who suffer from this, because otherwise you're just caught up in your own head and you just view the world from your own one perspective. And by doing so, you can also then exercise and really polish your own skills and tools that you have learned along the way, the things that you've learned from the reading list maybe, or from your therapist or your coach. And it's a great way to challenge your beliefs as well, especially if you have a different theme from the other person. Even though all forms of OCD fundamentally are the same, but obviously there are some nuances that vary from certain themes to themes, and there are different fears for each person as well. So it's a good way to try to see things from another person's perspective, trying to help them rationalize their irrational beliefs. And yeah, it's a good way to change your ways of thinking and really perceiving certain things. But that being said, while it is great to do that, it does come with its own set of challenges sometimes. So the first thing that I want to mention is that if you are supporting someone who is not part of a support group, I would recommend you redirect them to one, because on a one-on-one basis, what can happen sometimes is that because OCD is such an isolating disorder and it feels so lonely and you feel completely misunderstood by people around you, you do feel the need for full attention and fully explaining yourself, fully explaining every single aspect, every single thought, every single feeling to the other person. And when that happens, that can become easily compulsive. Rob also made a post about this recently, that venting is a compulsion as well. So when you have that one-on-one attention, an OCD sufferer will most likely jump on that opportunity to capitalize on it and use every single minute that they have with that one person. So the good thing about support groups is that you can get multiple perspectives, and you can get multiple sorts of inputs from people from around the world, from different backgrounds and different cultures. And that really does add to the way you think, and you're really able to see things from a new lens, which is again a really key aspect of OCD recovery. So being a part of a support group can be really beneficial that way, especially if it's a moderated group, as the Facebook group that is run by OCD recovery. We do look out for reassurance and confessing in there, and that really helps set a certain tone of recovery in the entire group and helps keep people on track, because as we know, reassurance and confessing is a comfort trap, it doesn't really help anybody, and it often keeps people stuck in that loop of repeating it over and over again. So support groups in that sense are really great, and also on a one-on-one basis you may feel very overwhelmed supporting someone else, especially if you're going through your own recovery journey and you have like a lot of work to do. It can get a bit much trying to support somebody else all the while working on yourself as well. So having a sense of community in that sense really is a beneficial cushion through which you can move on to recovery. One thing that I do want to clarify over here is that I'm not trying to discourage you from having one-on-one interactions, because bonding with other OCD sufferers is important as well. But what I'm only highlighting over here is the support aspect of those interactions, because you as an individual might not be able to extend the kind of full support that that person needs. Either maybe your themes have been different, or maybe your fears have been different. Maybe you can't fully understand how to rationalize their rational beliefs for them. There are so many things that go into it. So I'm not discouraging from having those one-on-one interactions. Feel free to do that. But when it comes to support, I personally think there are greater benefits in a support group than in one-on-one interactions, because that can come with its own pitfalls, which I am just going to talk. Number two that I want to mention is the aspect of tough love, which Erica also goes into great detail on. If you do not give the person tough love, they will not be pushed enough to do their recovery work. Tough love is something that keeps them accountable, it keeps them in check, it keeps their compulsions, their reassurance, their confessing on the side, and it really pushes them to face their fears, prioritize recovery, do their exposures, whatever they need to do. And because OCD is the kind of thing that if you are lenient with the person, then that's like a playground for OCD, and it comes sweeping in and it will take as much space as it wants. So that's why we need to really push people, and even if it might feel uncomfortable, because you know that they're really suffering and you will have to say things that they don't want to hear, but that are beneficial for them, and that will take them closer to recovery. But it is an essential component of trying to support another person. And also that's something that you require as well. So if you have family members who are being too easy on you, and if you really want to recover, then ask them to be a bit tough on you and push you even more, because that's exactly what will get you better. Similarly, when you are tough on people, and by tough I don't necessarily mean that you are just terrible with them. Obviously show compassion with them, which is why it's called tough love. Like, you're tough, but you're also showing them understanding and compassion and love, but not the kind where they are able to just be lazy about it and just not do anything. And yeah, so when that happens, then the room for asking for reassurance and the room for confessing is also really slim. You don't want to give them the space to do that, and especially on a one-on-one basis, they will really try to be sneaky with you. Like, an OCD sufferer can be very sneaky with you, and in subtle ways try to ask for reassurance, or in subtle ways they will kind of confess. But look out for that. Have sharp senses, keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and do not give them wiggle room for that, because it's a very slippery slope and it can snowball as well. Especially, again, because you suffer from OCD as well, you can sometimes tend to feel really bad if you are like cutting them. If you're not giving them reassurance, you will find it difficult to sometimes to not give them reassurance, or to not give them the space to talk and talk. But that has not helped you, and that doesn't help anybody else as well. The road to recovery is the uncomfortable one. So no reassurance, no confessing. Then what I want to say is that, so there will be moments where you are triggered as well, and you might wonder, should I help the other person or should I not help the other person? And I mean, the answer is yes or no. There's no direct answer to that, because it really depends on the specific situation. A trigger can be a really strong one where you are completely thrown off and you are, completely derailed and frazzled and you can't think straight, completely overwhelmed and panicky and all those things. Yes, those kind of triggers happen, but then there are also the kind of triggers where you don't feel that thrown off balance and you are still able to go on with your day, continue doing whatever you're doing. You're able to maintain your practicality and keep up your activities and be present in the moment. So if you're completely derailed, then obviously I would imagine even if you wanted to, you cannot support another person through that, obviously. But if you are someone who is having a moment of trigger where you are mildly triggered relatively and you're still able to extend support to someone, sure, do that. However, it is up to you in that moment what choice you make, because really the worst case scenario is that one person will not receive the support that they're trying to look for in that moment. And that's okay, because from your own experience you will know that there have been days that have been completely terrible from morning till night. You have gone through days where you've performed compulsions all day, um, or where you've asked for reassurance all day or confessed all day. And we've all had those really, really bad days with OCD. But however it was, you got through them. You got through them, and that's why you are here. If you're watching this video, that's why you're here watching this video, because you got through those difficult days. And they were very uncomfortable. I'm not trying to downplay the discomfort and the pain that one can go through on such days, but still you got through them and you're here. And whoever you're trying to support, before they knew you, they also had those difficult days as well, and they were able to get through them without your support, and therefore they can get through another day without your support. And that's okay, because you are also taking your time and you are also working on your own journey, and they are doing it as well. You have to be compassionate with them, but then also yourself as well. Don't completely ignore yourself and ignore your own recovery work, because taking care of yourself is also a priority in your life. Speaking of keeping recovery a priority in your life, I will also say that sometimes when you're helping other people, especially from the perspective of a moderator, I would say, helping other people can feel like, oh, you know what, I have this together, I'm doing well, I'm doing fine, I'll get to my own recovery work, my rational tools are in place, they are sharp enough, I'm getting through. So you might delude yourself into thinking that, hey, you know what, I'm doing great. But no, like, please don't do that, because that results in coasting, which I did at some point, and you ignore yourself. You really don't, yeah, you don't pay attention to yourself. So while you are trying to support other people, which is great, also don't ignore yourself in the process. Keep in mind that you still have exposures to do. You still need to take time out for disputing or reading or whatever it is that you need to do to recover. So yeah, don't delude yourself, don't be lazy, and keep moving. Another important point is that when you're trying to support and help somebody else, always remember to be patient and compassionate. And the reason I'm highlighting this separately is because, especially if you are someone who is doing better now, you may get frustrated easily with someone who is stuck. Always remember that you were also someone who was really suffering badly at some point. You were also stuck for quite a long time. OCD was latched on really strongly in your life, and it takes different times for different people. Some people, I mean, there's no set recovery time for every person. It's different for every person. The journey varies for every single individual. So always remember that. Be patient with them, be compassionate with them. Obviously, still exercise tough love and keep pushing them and keep encouraging them to, and keep them accountable to do their work. But don't lose your patience with them, because that is key over here. Because if you are someone who loses your patience with them, then your support will not be effective for them, because you will not be in your best capacity to help them out. So always remember that that's one key aspect of trying to support other people. This also reminds me of, I think Carl Jung said this, that you basically, something along the lines of, you hate things in other people that you hate about yourself. So if you are someone who is getting frustrated with another OCD sufferer, that's probably because you hated that about yourself back when you were suffering, and you're just projecting it onto another person. So always remember that, and yeah, keep that in mind. I also wanted to add some perspective, of what it's like to be a moderator sometimes. And I think initially what I did find challenging was trying to be there for every single person, which is obviously not possible, and which is why we have more than one moderators. We are in total 10 or 11. It's really important for us to share that responsibility and also keep rotating our presence in the WhatsApp groups and the Facebook group. But yeah, initially you may feel bad, and this is something that I was talking about earlier as well. You may feel bad about not being there for someone, and that's also another added benefit of being in a support group, because if one person is not there for someone, then another person will jump in and try to be there for that person. So yeah, support groups have like a lot of benefits, especially if they're run well. And I believe at OCD recovery, our support groups are run quite well. It can provide you with a lot of good along your way. So not being able to be there for every single person. I don't know if that was a grammatically correct sentence, but yeah, that was initially a challenge for me. But I have learned to be more compassionate with myself, be more understanding with my own self, and see that even if I'm not there, somebody else will be there. And along the way, I need to take care of myself and prioritize my own recovery work. And there will be days while doing recovery that I might not completely feel up to supporting another person, and that's also fine. They will be able to get through their day as well. I will be able to get through my day as well. And yeah, it's a role that I really, really enjoy. I thrive I think in this environment. It's amazing to not only just support other people, but also to bond with them and to learn from them, and to help them learn from me as well. Not just about OCD, but about life in general, sharing our experiences and just joking and having some banter in the groups. It's a really great environment to have. So I'm really happy to be a moderator. So that was that. I think I have covered all the points that I want to cover for today. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I would be happy to answer them. I do have another topic in mind that I want to do for maybe later this week. So I'll see you with that. Bye bye. Take care.